Dear people who care about my opinion for some reason, I finally did it. I finally sat down and I made my predictions for the top 50 players in the NBA next season, the 2022 season, in case you didn't know. Obviously, this is a prediction. This is not based off, it's kind of based off what's happened before, but this is not like what has happened yet. So if you disagree with these rankings, I'm literally guessing here. I'm guessing with some evidence, but pretty much just guessing, so I don't actually know, and I'm not going to be offended if you disagree with me. Anyway, getting into the video here, let me start off with some honorable mentions. There are a few of them because it is very, very difficult to narrow down the 50 best players in the league, especially for a season that hasn't actually happened yet. So here they are without further ado. Andrew Wiggins, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, OG Anunoby, Cade Cunningham, Mike Conley, Seth Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, and D'Angelo Russell. Those guys, some of them were originally on my top 50 list before I revised it, which in several cases just meant there was a dude I literally forgot existed and then remembered him later, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta fit him in there on the list somewhere, and it bumped one of these guys off. And in other cases, they were just guys who were just barely not good enough to make the list. I think the closest one to making it was Andrew Wiggins. D'Angelo Russell, some people probably think he should be on there. I'm not that high on him. I think he has a lot of issues. And Cade Cunningham. He's a rookie, so if he does end up being a top 50 player in the league, I won't be surprised, but it's also very hard to predict. There's only one rookie on this upcoming list, as you will see very, very soon, as he is towards the bottom. Now, with the very honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the real list, and I feel like I will do these in sets of 10, 5 sets of 10 to be exact. Yay me, I'm good at math. Starting off with number 50, Terry Rozier. Going up, 49, Anthony Edwards, 48, Gordon Hayward, 47, Jalen Green, 46, Nikola Vucevic, 45, Michael Porter Jr., 44, Kyle Lowry, 43, Brandon Ingram, 42, Russell Westbrook, 41, Drew Holiday, and number 40, LaMelo Ball. Just going over some of these guys real quick, Michael Porter Jr. is obviously coming up a little bit from last year. I'm expecting him to have a very good season as the number 2 on this team, with Jamal Murray missing most, if not all, of the season. And a quick caveat, let me throw this in here real quick before we get deeper into the list. Dudes who are expected to miss most, if not the entire season next year, will not be on this list. The two main guys I am talking about here are Jamal Murray and Kawhi Leonard. So when you get to the top 10 and Kawhi Leonard's not there, that's the reason why. Obviously, the dude would be in there if he was healthy, but he is not, so he is not. I have Jalen Green at 47. I am very high on him. I do believe he will be, at least as a rookie, the best rookie in this class. I really have no idea for the future. Maybe it's Cade, maybe it's somebody else, but I think Jalen is going to be very, very good. Anthony Edwards had a good year last season. I could see him being significantly higher, or I could see him not being in this top 50 at all. He's barely in it anyway, but you know what I'm saying. Some people probably think that all of Holiday, Westbrook, and Lowry are too low on this list, and all I have to say is Kyle Lowry's old, Russell Westbrook is in the worst situation he's been in since he was in OKC, and Drew Holiday has just really disappointed me in the playoffs last year. Dude was pretty much just there for his defense. His playmaking was okay, but he's very inconsistent at best on the offensive end when it comes to scoring, and he just disappeared in a lot of big moments. He is also a dude who's getting older, so it's not like he's getting any better. Westbrook is also getting older, and he's always got a little bit of an injury thing, so those dudes are low. If you think they're higher, okay, maybe, but I don't think they are. I'm sure people think Westbrook's higher because I'm always low on him, but just know the fact that I don't like him, so, tell yourself that he's only this low because of that and not because you're biased or whatever. Moving on. Oh, one more dude, LaMelo Ball at number 40. Dude's a beast. I could really see a world where he's an all-star next season and he's like borderline top 30. I have him at 40 because we just don't know. We just didn't get enough of him last season with him being injured. That's why he's right here. I feel like it was a good spot for him. Now, actually moving on into the top 40, let's start off with number 39, DeAndre Ayton. 38, Tobias Harris. 36, Kristaps Porzingis. 30, that's not how numbers work. 37, Kristaps Porzingis. 36, Julius Randle. 35, De'Aaron Fox. 34, Draymond Green. 33, Ben Simmons. 32, Klay Thompson. 31, Pascal Siakam. And number 30, DeMar DeRozan. Going over some of the things that may confuse people in this one. I think that most of my sane viewers out there will have DeAndre Ayton right around this area, and they will think this is a perfectly fine placement for him. However, if any of you are some B-Souls diehards, and look, I like B-Souls, but when that man said that DeAndre Ayton is already a top 5 center, and he's like a top 20 player in the NBA, or top 25, wherever he had him, he was smoking crack, okay? DeAndre Ayton is not that good, and he will not be that good for at least several more seasons. Slow the roll in the DeAndre Ayton train. I know he had a great playoff run. I know he was super efficient. He was very important to that team making the finals. But oh my goodness, he is absolutely not a top 30 player in the NBA just yet. Sure as hell not a top 5 center. So I have him here at 39. Moving up, Tobias Harris next. Pretty good spot for him, I think. Many people may think that Julius Randle is too low, all the way down at 36. Look, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think last season was a little bit fluky for Julius Randle. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I fully expect him to be an all-star once again, especially because he has the New York fan base behind him. But I do think some of his percentages are going to fall off a little bit. He had a massive jump in efficiency last year, and I just think he's going to fall back to earth a few spots. And that's going to be enough to put him down here into the mid-30s. He's just not that good, New York fans. He's a good player, but, he's not better than Domantas Sabonis, for example, who will be pretty soon up on this list. He is a good passer. I mean, he does a lot of things really well. I do not want to sit here and crap on Julius Randle. He had an amazing season last season, but he is not actually an all-NBA caliber player, in my opinion. Maybe he'll come out here this season, he'll play just as well or even better than he did last year, but I really believe he outperformed his actual talent last season, and I think he belongs down here in the mid-30s. De'Aaron Fox in the mid-30s, I think that's a good spot for him. Many people may have Draymond Green too high in this place, but I think he's going to be competing for the Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to be very, very good on this team now that Klay Thompson is back. 32 is a weird spot. Some people probably think that's too low for Klay Thompson, and all I have to say is he's coming back for a big injury. I just don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, Klay Thompson could be a top 20 player next season, and he could not be top 40. We don't really know, so I am slotting him in here in the high 30s, and praying that ends up being about where he is, but, I really don't know. Klay Thompson could move significantly up or down on this list. It all depends on his injury. Ben Simmons pains me to even put on this list. I legitimately considered not having Ben Simmons on the list, but for all of his playoff issues, and for what a massive pain in the ass he's been for the Sixers lately, the dude is still really good in the regular season. He's still one of the best passers in the league. He's still one of the best defenders in the league. And I had to put him here at 33, even though I really, really wanted to not have him on this list whatsoever. And then, last, I'm going to talk about for this little area, DeMar DeRozan at 30. I think it was Bleacher Report or ESPN, whoever put him at 90 or something, or 70 or something last season in their ranking, was obviously an idiot, but dude took it to heart. I would say DeMar DeRozan arguably just had the best season of his career. He's still a very efficient player, he's become a very good playmaker, and even though I don't think his fit on the Bulls is great, I do think he's going to play very, very well for that team, and I think it's fair to have him all the way up here at number 30. Now, moving into the top 30 players in the league, or top 29, should I say, I have Domantas Sabonis at number 29, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 28, Karl-Anthony Towns at 27, Ja Morant at 26, Chris Middleton at 25, Jaylen Brown at 24, Zach LaVine at 23, Chris Paul at 22, Devin Booker at 21, and Bradley Beal at number 20. Where do I start with this section? I think this is probably going to be my most controversial section. First of all, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is he really a top 30 player in the league already? Yes, This dude is a beast. He's a phenomenal playmaker. He's an underrated defender, even though I'm not going to call him a great one by any means. He's a very good scorer, one of the best finishers at the rim in the entire league. And unfortunately, we're probably not going to see as much of him as we would like, because if he played full All-Star minutes like he should be playing next season, the Thunder probably wouldn't be tanking properly. I fully expect him to be on some sort of weird minutes restriction, or they just won't play him with any good teammates. I mean, he doesn't have many good teammates because that team's tanking like crazy right now, but you know what I'm saying. We are not going to see the best of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander next season, but trust me, this dude's a beast. Karl-Anthony Towns, look, I gotta see him win. He has been putting up, I know people seem to believe empty stats aren't a thing anymore, but I really think if any player in the league is putting up empty stats these days, it's Karl-Anthony Towns. His efficiency, his offense overall has been amazing for pretty much his entire career. And for pretty much his entire career, when he's been the number one option, his team has sucked butt. That's just how it is. I do not believe in the Minnesota Timberwolves. I do not believe in Karl-Anthony Towns. And I don't think that team is ever going anywhere near the playoffs until Karl-Anthony Towns is no longer the first option. I don't know if he needs to be traded for that, or if they, maybe Anthony Edwards really develops into a star and he becomes the number one. I don't know, but I don't trust Cat as the first option. I don't think the Timberwolves are going to be that good, and I cannot justify having him higher than 27. Chris Middleton at 25, I think, is a fair spot. Jaylen Brown, I think, is a little bit underrated these days. This dude's a very, very good young player. I think he should be around there. Zach LaVine just had a great season. He's probably about to be even better. Chris Paul falling to 22. Look, old and injury prone is two words that sum up Chris Paul, old and injury prone. This dude's probably going to get hurt at some point next season. He's probably going to be load managed, and he's just old. The man's like 36 years old. He just can't keep up, okay? Not everyone can be LeBron James. As amazing as Chris Paul was last year, being a low-level MVP candidate, he's gonna fall off this season. Anyone who thinks he's not is just a little bit delusional. This dude, I don't believe he's going to be a top 20 player. He might be able to sneak in there, but the idea that Chris Paul is going to be like top 15 next season, I just don't believe it. I just think he's going to fall off a little too much, and Devin Booker will officially take his place as the best player on the Phoenix Suns. However, he's still only at 21 for me. Look, I like Devin Booker a lot. He improved in a lot of ways last season. His defense improved, his efficiency improved, partially because of Chris Paul. His shot selection improved, his playmaking is finally at a level where he's, not the primary playmaker, so he can show that he is still a decent one. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of talented players in the league, and I just don't think Devin Booker really brings anything to the table that is better than what anyone above him brings, including Bradley Beal, who I had at number 20. Now, the top 20 players, starting with number 19, Rudy Gobert. People aren't going to like Rudy Gobert at number 19, but look, the fact is this man is the best regular season defender that the league has seen since prime Kawhi Leonard, 2016 Draymond Green, maybe not even since prime Dwight Howard. This dude, be as he is in the playoffs, which is, suck-ass bad, he's amazing in the regular season, and that still counts for something. I have him at 19. Don't know why I sat there and did a whole thing on Rudy Gobert right there. Moving on for the rest of them. 18, Bam Adebayo. 17, Jimmy Butler. 16, Zion. 15, Donovan Mitchell. 14, Paul George. 13, Kyrie Irving. Number 12, Jason Tatum. And number 11, Trae Young. Whew, I need a drink of water. Okay, I'm back. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to keep talking about NBA. Now, starting off, Rudy Gobert I already went over. Bam Adebayo, great young player. I do believe he will be the third best center in the NBA next season. Super versatile. He's a great post defender. He really does everything you want on defense. And meanwhile on offense, very good playmaking big. He can score. He's starting to work on his mid-range. Bam Adebayo is a great player. I love watching him play. I'm looking forward to seeing him get a little bit more respect next season, as I don't think he did last season as like the only healthy dude on the Heat, and the Heat kind of sucked. Speaking of the Heat, Jimmy Butler at 17, probably lower than most people would have him. And look, similar to Chris Paul, similar to Kyle Lowry, similar to a whole bunch of dudes, Jimmy Butler is getting up there in age. We saw last season injuries were taking a toll on him, and even when he was healthy, His defense was clearly not as good as it was in years previous. His scoring has fallen off. He's gone into some kind of horrible three-point shooting slump. I mean, the dude's never been much of a three-point shooter, but my goodness, he was especially atrocious last season. I don't think he's a top 15 player. I know he had that amazing playoff run just 1 year ago, but I don't think he's going to be a top 15 player anymore. Still, obviously, a very, very good player. 17 is an impressive place for literally anyone. But Jimmy Butler, if you think he's low on this list, that is why. I think age is going to take more of a toll on him, and he's going to just barely be ahead of Bam Adebayo, and just barely be behind Zion Williamson, who is steadily approaching that superstar status. He was ridiculous last season, and even though I don't think the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs next year, once again, because the West is just so ridiculous right now, he's going to make it close. He's going to make it close. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets him in the play-in. He is just an absolute beast. Cannot wait to watch more highlights of him. Really, really, really hope he stays healthy next season. Donovan Mitchell at 15. Dude's an absolute beast. Some people think Devin Booker's over him, and I just disagree. I'm not even a fan of Donovan Mitchell, but I got to admit, I think he's going to get better next season like he has been every year. His playmaking keeps improving. His efficiency keeps improving. He is really good shot selection away and a little bit better defense away from being like a superstar player. He really is. He's that good. And I could see him getting there next season. However, for right now, I think he's just a little bit below that level, and I have him at 15. Paul George is about to have a phenomenal season if the Clippers are going to have any chance of making the playoffs in the Western Conference. We will see what he does. Hopefully he stays healthy and we can get another MVP Paul George season like we did back in 2019. Kyrie Irving at 13. He annoys me, but I got to admit he's an absolute beast. Jason Tatum at 12. Some people think he's going to be top 10 next season. Some people think he's going to win the MVP. Like a surprising amount of people think he's going to win the MVP. Jason Tatum's a beast, guys, but slow down a little bit. There's still quite a few players ahead of him. He is not winning an MVP for at least another 2 seasons, alright? Unless he has some insane breakout next year, which is possible, but I just don't see it happening. I have Tatum at 12 and Trae Young at 11. I really, really wanted to put Trae Young in the top 10. I really did. I was this close. You can't see it, but I'm holding my fingers real close together. I was this close to having Trae Young at number 10 or even number 9. But I decided to be patient. He's still got some defensive issues. He's still got some efficiency issues. So I decided to be patient and only have him at 11 as the worst superstar in the NBA. I believe there are 11 superstars right now, and Trae Young is one of them. Well, 12 if Kawhi was healthy, but you know what I'm saying. 11 on this list. Trae Young is the worst one. He's going to be top 10, maybe by the end of next season, but certainly by the season after, I fully believe. Dude is a beast. And now, finally, finishing the list with my official top 10 best players in the NBA in the 2022 season. At number 10, I have Anthony Davis. Number 9, Damian Lillard. Number 8, James Harden. Number 7, Luka Doncic. Number 6, LeBron James. Number 5, Kevin Durant. Again, I know people are real high on him. Number 4, Nikola Jokic. Number 3, Joel Embiid. Number 2, or number 1B, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And number 1, Steph Curry. Anthony Davis is this low because just freaking accept it. He's not nearly as good as Embiid or Giannis or Jokic. I don't know why people believe he is. He has not been better since any of those players since 2018. Just freaking get over it already, guys. He's a great player. He's in the top 10. He's not better than anyone ahead of him. I'm sorry. Damian Lillard, second or third best point guard in the NBA, depending on if you count Harden as a point guard. Speaking of James Harden, dude arguably had the best season of his career last season, but the thing was he keeps getting hurt. That man's hamstring is starting to look like Chris Paul's hamstring, and once you pull a hammy, it just keeps getting hurt over and over again. He's going to really struggle to go 100% at any point in the next season or in the remainder of his career, and so I only have him down here at number 8, just behind Luka Doncic, who is basically the new James Harden in the league. Dude is super showy, he's in the Western Conference in Texas, and, he's a beast. He's straight up, he's a beast. I expect him to be one of the top 2 players of the 2020s. He's still just a tiny bit away from being the best player in the league, from winning an MVP, but he's going to do a damn good job next season, especially if Kristaps Porzingis finally pulls his head out of his ass and starts playing like an all-star again. Luka's going to be beast, and I could legitimately see a world where he is in the top 5 ahead of both LeBron James and Kevin Durant. LeBron at 6. Look, a lot of people still have him at 1, and I'm going to be honest, LeBron fans, okay? If you have him at number 1 for next season, I cannot blame you. I still considered putting him at number 1 because he's LeBron James. Every single time you count this man out, every single time you say he's finally fallen off, he's finally not the best player in the league, he comes back, he proves everyone wrong, everybody looks like an idiot. LeBron James is an absolute freaking monster. However, Father Time is undefeated. And LeBron James, as many times as he has beaten time, as he has proven time wrong, as he has refused to age, he got injured again last season. He got another year older. I believe he's going to be 37 this season. Look, no 37-year-old in NBA history has been better than any of my top 5 players are right now. And I don't think LeBron James is going to be the first. It's possible. It wouldn't be absolutely shocking to me by any means, but I can't do it. I just can't bet on him being better than the 5 guys I had ahead of him. And honestly, if Luka Doncic is ahead of LeBron next season too, I once again wouldn't be surprised. The man is old as hell. At some point, his body's just got to stop letting him be a top 5 player in the league. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Kevin Durant at 5. Look, his defense is overrated. He's a good defender, but he's not nearly as good as people say he is. His scoring's good. His playmaking has improved from, his early years, but it's still not elite by any means. I just don't think his scoring's enough. I like Kevin Durant scoring a whole freaking lot, but I just don't think it's enough to put him over any of these other guys. Nikola Jokic, greatest passing big man in NBA history, arguably just had the best offensive season for a center in NBA history. Just won the MVP. I can't put Kevin Durant over him. I just can't. Joel Embiid, one of the best defenders in the NBA, one of the best offensive players in the NBA. He's a full package. He is the best center since prime Shaquille O'Neal. This dude's amazing. Joel Embiid's amazing. You all know he's my favorite player. I'm a Sixers fan. Maybe I'm biased. Call me biased. I don't give a crap. Joel Embiid is, in my opinion, the 3rd best player in the league, or he will be next season. And then at number 1 and number 2, Steph Curry and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, look, you can switch them 100%. They are the clear top 2 choices, in my opinion. Giannis plays on both ends. He has defense, he has offense, he does it all. He just had one of the greatest finals runs of all time. But Steph Curry, man. Steph Curry with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and a bunch of decent young players who are getting better on a good team. I think Steph Curry could win around 60 games next season. I think he's going to prove that he is still, at age 33 or 34, however old he is, the best player in the entire NBA, despite not being an amazing defender. Steph Curry is, in my opinion, also the best offensive player ever. I think he's going to be pretty easily the best offensive player in the league next season. I think he's the best playmaker ever. I'm very high on Steph Curry, and if Giannis ends up being better than him, I won't be surprised. Like I said, they're a 1A, 1B type thing. But my bet is that Steph Curry will be the best player in the league, and Giannis will only be the 2nd best. So that is my official top 50 players for 2022. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this very long video.